for my practical, I'm going to be teaching the snatch clean jerk. Snatch clean jerk are part of the sport of Olympic weightlifting, which is a sport I participate in. It's a strength sport where you get 3 attempts at each lift. You take your best one in each, that's your total. It's a weight class sport, but whoever lifts the most in your weight class wins. They're also commonly used in CrossFit, either heavy 1 rep maxes or for time in certain workouts like Fran, which is 30 clean jerks for time. They're also commonly used in strength and conditioning programs because there's a high neurological component that can improve rate of force development. It's a big explosive component, power component, and speed component. They're highly technical, so it's good to have proper supervision with a coach. The prime movers, pretty much the whole body. You have the quads and the glutes. Hamstrings are going to extend the knee, extend the hip. You're going to have the back, so spinal erectors, lats, traps are going to stabilize. Then overhead, you're going to have delts, also upper back musculature to stabilize there. Core is involved as well. The first step when teaching someone how to snatch is to ensure they have a good overhead squat as their receiving position. What you're looking for here is a barbell directly over the shoulders. Feet about shoulder width apart, toes can be slightly out but not too much. You want as deep as possible with a neutral spine. Toes can track forward, but you don't want them in valgus, that's a flaw. Another flaw you see here, when people try to sit back too much, make it too hip dominant. Not only is that not a good position to catch a snatch and rock bottom, but it also puts a lot of strain on the shoulders. Another flaw here would be people set up too extended in lordosis. They'll butt wink right over in the front of the hips, get to lumbar flexion, which you don't want, which puts a lot of strain on the spine. Once you have a good overhead squat, you can go to position 1. Position 1. Knees bent a little bit, shoulders directly over the bar. Weight on the heels. Common flaws here, you'll see people too far behind it or too far over it. Also, to ensure the correct grip width, you want to put the bar on the crease of your hips, flex one knee up to 90 degrees, and that's where you want to be. Common flaws people will be too narrow, that puts the bar too low or too wide, gets it too high. To hit the sweet spot, you need it right in the crease of your hips, that's where you want to make contact. From here, you'll do some snatches or power snatches from position 1. Once you get position 1, you're going to work down to position 2. So from position 1, you're just going to hinge your RDL back to just below the knee. Knees go back, shoulders over the bar, weight on the heels. Common flaws here, you'll see people get their hips too high, gets their quads out of the lift, or they'll be too far behind the bar, knees too forward. That'll force the bar to go around them. They won't have good leverage over the bar. So once you get that position 2 down, you want to reinforce it, and you can do some hang snatches from position 2. So start position 1, 2, from there you can work to position 3. 1, 2, from position 2 to position 3, you're just going to bend your knees. This is starting position or position 3. From here you can get your shoulders either right over the bar, just behind it, or just over it. A common flaw is people set up too far behind it. From here you just want to push your knees back, stay over the bar. Torso end should remain constant. Common flaws here, you see people get their hips too high. Torso gets too far over, or the knees don't go back enough. They go forward, and they get upright too early. To have good leverage, you need to stay over the bar until it gets to the knees. And once you get that, you just want to practice from position 3. Put weights on the bar to ensure you have at the proper height. Back tight. Weight midfoot. Shoulders over the bar. I'm just going to drive through the ground. Push my knees back. Hips are not rising too early. Bar should stay tight. From there, Position 1, position 2, position 3, and from there you can run the snatch. Simplicity's sake, the biggest difference is just a hand width. Notice how much narrower it is. Instead of being in the crease of the hips right now, it'll be about mid-thigh for most people. But position 1 is still the same in regards to the knees, feet, and shoulders. Position 2 is still the same, and position 3 is still the same. Another big difference is that we're not catching it in an overhead squat anymore. We're catching it in a front squat. First front squat, we want our elbows up. Same feet, shoulder width apart, knees slightly out. Depth as low as we can go while keeping a neutral spine. Common flaws here, people struggle with front rack flexibility. So they won't be able to get into a good rack. They'll often get in positions like this, especially when they catch it. Or they'll get knee valgus, or their shoulders will collapse forward at the bottom of a clean or squat. So you want to keep an upright chest. And then we'll just go through the same progressions. Power cleans from position 1. Position 2. From position 3. Now that we've learned the snatch and the clean, it's time to learn the jerk. First we start with the push press. Put the bar and shoulders behind your neck. You're going to get to a similar position to position 1. Right here, knees bent, hips back a little bit, back tight, shoulders upright, and just we're going to drive through overhead. Once somebody is comfortable with push pressing, we're going to teach a behind the neck power jerk. Power jerk, we press the bar up overhead, but rather than continuing to extend, we're actually going to bend our knees and drop under the bar, like so. After we learn that, we're going to learn the correct footwork for the jerk. Oftentimes you can do this without a bar, but it's a split position. We want our knees perpendicular, so our leg 90 degrees. Split about hip width apart. Look at it from the side. Tibia straight up and down. We don't want it going forward. Torso upright. Common flaws here is that knee will go too far forward and shoulders will follow like that. A lot of times you'll miss forward if you catch it like that. And that puts too much stress on the shoulders. So we want to be 90 degrees. Torso straight up and down. And once we've done that, then we're just kind of split into that position without pressing overhead. So here, here. Recover with the front foot first, so left foot, right foot. And we're just going to practice that movement over and over. Pause for a second and split. And once we're comfortable there, then we'll finally go overhead. Once we're comfortable there, then we'll move to the front. So we'll do the same progressions from the front. Push press from the front. This is more difficult because we have to navigate our head out of the way. We first need to retract our chin and then get our head through. Slightly more difficult than from behind. Once we have that, we'll do push jerks. Once again, rebending under the bar. And once we're comfortable with those, we'll split jerk from the front. Not all weightlifters split jerks on power jerk or squat jerk. Power jerk, just like we learned before, once they catch their clean and rack it here and stand up, they just won't split. Others actually squat jerk, where they catch it all the way in the bottom of the squat. But the split jerk is much more common.